Hey everybody, welcome to the 94th episode of the Nintendo Fever podcast. Tonight I have my co-host with me, Ryan.
What's up?
And I also have a special guest from GameGravy.com, Mike Johnson.
Hey, what's going on?
And of course, as always, I'm your host, Anthony. Since this is the 94th episode, I decided to do a little research on what came out in 1994 for video games.
That's cool.
And so that's going to be my little special segment, throw in there to surprise you guys. So my first thing is, and you guys will have a laugh about this one, is in 94, Nintendo proclaims this the year of the cartridge.
Nice.
So not only was it the year of the cartridge, but it's the year of what almost kills Nintendo.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean...
Who didn't like those cartridges? Come on, guys.
Well,
So in some other news in that year, Nintendo Australia officially became a subsidiary of Nintendo company. They used to actually be distributed by Mattel in
I didn't
Australia.
know that. Oh, that's
Yeah, so that's
interesting.
kind of cool. Yeah, that's some kind of cool news out there. They gave away the Project Reality name of the Nintendo Ultra 64 for the first time that year.
Project
The
Reality.
IDSA, which was the Interactive Digital Software Association, was founded, and then they later changed their name to the ESA, the Entertainment Software Association, in
Interesting.
2003.
Wow.
And they're the ones that made the ESRB rating board, so if you don't know who they are.
Those punks.
Sega and MGM made a venture together to create video games, movies, and television programs.
Wow.
Was
The
that
Computer
Sega,
Game
Sega
Developers
TV or whatever?
Association was formed by Ernest Adams. What was that, Ryan?
Was that the Sega TV or whatever they had back in the day?
I'm guessing it was like probably the Sonic animated series and stuff like that,
Oh,
and
okay.
like or
Yeah.
like the straight to DVD
That's
movies.
probably
or
when they
whatever.
started doing movie video games, too.
So and I'll give you a couple of the games that came out that year, some of the more popular ones. So Mega Man X came out in January of that year
Awesome game.
in the U.S.
Yep. That's a good game.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3 came out.
Oh, okay.
Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo came out. Mega Man 6 released in the U.S. Weird that Mega Man X came out before 6, but
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah, that's funny.
So my favorite video game of all time came out on March 19th of that year, and that would be Super Metroid.
Nice.
Did you know that it was distributed on a 24 megabit cartridge?
No, I did not know that.
It was the largest of
24
its time.
megabits.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Boom. Wing Commander 3 came out. Final Fantasy 6 released.
Oh,
Dude,
amazing.
like this is
Oh,
like
wow.
the year.
That brings back memories.
Let's see what else we have came out. Jazz Jackrabbit, Jagged Alliance,
Those are
TIE
hot
Fighter,
titles.
the first Darkstalkers, Earthworm
wonder-
Jim,
wonder
the
if
first King of
Australia-
Fighters.
I wonder if they got any exclusive Nintendo games.
Who?
Australia, like, Nintendo Down Under. So, like,
Oh,
were
no,
they hunting, like,
they wouldn't get anything exclusive.
you don't think they were hunting, like, kangaroos instead of ducks and stuff? Like,
No.
hey, I had to throw that out
So
there.
Nintendo released Mother 2 for the Super Famicom in Japan,
Oh,
which
wow.
was released the following year as Earthbound. Need for Speed came to the 3DO. Mortal Kombat 2 on Super Nintendo came out, which was the awesomest version ever.
I love that game.
Yeah, that was great.
Killer Instinct also came out in the arcade of
Nice.
October.
I
I mean,
still
this
have
is
that
like
SNES
a year,
cartridge.
man. System Shock came out that year.
Wow,
Doom
that's a
2
scary
came out.
game. Yep.
Sonic and Knuckles, UFO Enemy Unknown. Let's see. In November, the 32X had Doom. Okay, that came out, and it had Doom and Star Wars Arcade on it. Also in November that year, Donkey Kong Country came out.
No kidding.
Wow.
Wow. What an epic year.
Blizzard released Warcraft.
Yes. Like
The
World
first
of Warcraft or just
no,
Warcraft?
The
No.
turn-based strategy
Yeah,
or
Warcraft.
real-time strategy.
The
sorry.
RTS. Yeah, the very first one. Okay.
King's Quest 7 came out. Tekken released in the arcades.
Oh, gosh.
Wario Woods was the official last game on the NES that year. And to finish out the year, Bungie released Marathon on the Macintosh.
Wow.
No kidding.
So, I mean, what a year in games! Like seriously, when I was going over that, that's why like I was like kind of like, okay, I'm gonna surprise you guys because I'm
Yeah,
like,
that
there's
was super
so
cool.
much
I didn't
stuff
realize
that
that.
year. And I mean, some of the hardware that was released that year. I mean, I didn't really talk about it because it was in Japan, but the PlayStation came out in Japan on December 3rd.
Oh, yeah, because it came out in
Really?
95 in America.
Yeah, so in '94 it
Wow.
came out. What a year though in gaming. Sega released the 32X. The Sega Nomad came out that year.
Yeah, I remember
The
that.
Saturn launched in Japan that year, and the Super Game Boy was released that year.
Oh,
That came
Super
with like
Game Boy was
Splatterhouse
awesome.
and weird stuff like that. I think that was really cool.
Yeah, so Super Game Boy was like the precursor for the Switch, right? Technically, come on, guys. Technically, come on. Okay,
Yeah.
but speaking of the Switch, so well, let's say before the Switch, because while we were waiting in line that night to go to the midnight, I personally went and watched a movie that evening. Did you gentlemen go and watch that movie as well?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So we went and watched Logan,
Yep.
and what do you guys think?
I loved it. I thought it was great.
I thought it was awesome
I'm a
just
huge
to see
comic book fan.
Wolverine
so-
be a badass.
I love that it was rated R too, because like
Mm-hmm.
it's rated R when you're watching it, and you're like, yes, I love this. This is great. This is how
Yeah.
Wolverine should be. You know.
How great was X-23?
Oh, she did awesome.
Yeah. I liked her. She was better than I thought she was gonna be. To be honest with you.
Yeah, she was really cool.
I loved
mean,
how they talked about, like, I'm not going to talk about specifics, but I liked how they got into that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the violence from her, though, I was just like,
It blew
wow.
me away. I was
Yeah.
I was so excited. I'm like, yes.
I'm like, how is this not going to mess this poor young lady up as she grows up?
She's already messed up. That's the cool part. Like, it works perfect.
So I'm going to start with Ryan. How was your Switch launch?
Oh, how was my
How did
Switch
that go
launch?
for you?
It went very smooth actually. My GameStop had it down. They had numbers. They had everything bagged up and ready for each individual person. As soon as they stepped up in line, they handed them the bag, matched the number, and you're out the door. It went very smooth,
Awesome.
and a lot of people showed up, which was awesome. They had a line of people. They got 6 extras at my GameStop, and they had a line of like 12 people outside waiting for those 6, which doesn't make sense to me because if you're not the first 6 people, you're probably not going to get one.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Did they do any game tournaments or any?
Unfortunately,
any
no. They didn't do any kind of big event. Really, it was kind of just plain Jane.
So at mine, they had a Smash Brothers tournament on the Wii U. So they had that one going, and then they also had like this Nerf like bow and arrow where you had and they had a target where they had like Kukos on it, so you had to like shoot the Kuko.
That's
and
awesome.
Then you could win prizes in that, and then they had a Nintendo trivia as well.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I went to a GameStop as well. Like Rhino said, you know what? Mine was locked in and solid as well. The guys ran the store really well. Everything was pre-bagged, pre-labeled. I loved how you came in. They're like, "What number are you?" Oh, I was number 5. I went to the 5th place in line. It was great. And they did raffle tickets at mine, so they were drawing raffles for cool things. I got an awesome Nintendo Switch branded screen wipe, like the velvet screen wipes to wipe the Switch off, which was cool. And then I got also a art card, like that blue Zelda art card that they had exclusive for Breath of the Wild, which was cool. And some people didn't win anything, and I got 2. I felt kind of lucky, and I felt bad at the same time, but I wasn't about to just give it away. So
You could just send it down to me.
I could.
I did hook you up with that Arrow Lego.
You did. I could send you the art card if you want.
That'd be
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, I'll just bring it with me when I come visit.
Okay, so we all got the Switch in our hands.
Yes.
So
by the way, can I add one more thing?
yeah, go ahead.
In line, I was standing there, and this one dude turns around. He's with like a 9-year-old kid. Turns around and he goes, "Yeah. So I'm getting the Switch for my son here. He really wants it. So what is this Nintendo Switch thing? Can someone explain this to me?" And mind you, this is a game store full of awesome nerds, back to back, like a club, like all in line, and everybody's like, it's just like firing out one at a time what it is, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you thinking, sir? Don't ask a question like that in a store like this at this time of night.
I don't know who has the disposable income that they're just like, oh, my kid wants a $300 piece of electronic. I'm going to stand in line at midnight and get it even though I have no clue what it is?
That guy.
There are plenty.
That guy did. He was like a fairly young-ish guy. I mean, he's probably like 25 to 28.
But like, who doesn't do research? Like anything I buy electronic, I don't care if it's $5, I'll do the research on
I
it.
don't know. Some people, they just, unless he was just trying to make conversation, but he acted and looked pretty ignorant. So, I mean,
I wouldn't say
pretty
ignorant.
certain. I was pretty certain he was telling the truth. Because he's like, oh, okay, all right. And he was like looking at games on the shelf like it was the first time he's been in a GameStop. So, it was interesting. Anyways, I digress.
Anyways, I'm gonna go right back to you, Mike, since me and Ryan have talked to death over the last few podcasts about the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So someone who's, I know you're kind of a Nintendo gamer. Me and Ryan are definitely more on the Nintendo side.
Yeah, I've always been a Nintendo gamer.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah,
Anyways, so to have this system in your hands, how did it feel in handheld mode? And then did you get any other different controllers, or have you only used the Joy-Cons?
Yeah, I got an extra set of Joy-Cons because I wanted to have it just in case for Bomberman. And what was the question again?
how did it feel in your hand?
I liked it. It was a lot it's a lot longer than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be more compact for some reason. But it felt solid. I liked how things clicked in. I liked it a lot. It was great. I didn't, and I'll be completely honest with you, I liked it better on the TV than I did in my hands. So I've had it docked in my TV. I haven't taken it anywhere, only because I don't have a screen protector or a case yet. I need to get those, and then I'll start carrying it around. But I did play it handheld for a little bit, and I thought it was stupid that the charge cable is on the bottom. Because what I was doing is trying to set it on the table to play with the stand out, and then I was like, oh, it said, make sure you charge the battery because it was running low, and I'm like, okay, and then I plug it in, and I'm like, well, wait, I can't stand the system up and play it on the table with the cable because it's blocking it. I wish they would have put it on the side or the back or
and
the
that's
top
why
or something.
They sell that accessory where you put it on the table and it actually hovers the Switch gamepad. It holds it, and you can plug it to the bottom and everything. So
it's like $11.
I don't want to sound like a Nintendo apologist because I know some people in our circle tend to see me in that light. But how else would you dock it in there if it wasn't at the bottom? That's my only argument to that. Like seriously, like you can't put it in the side because what are you gonna do? Put it in the dock and then push it in to the side? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look at the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons.
Gravity only goes down.
I mean. True. Yeah, it could be on the back or the top. Why can't you have a cable on top that links over and plugs right into the top?
That would not look clean. It looks so much cleaner to just drop it in there.
Sure, I'm just saying there's options. Technically, it's
I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying for sleekness and for ease of use, where you're not going to be scratching your system or anything like that.
Well, if you're talking about sleekness, let's design the cradle a lot better. Let's design it softer or smoother so it doesn't press on the screens, and let's not make it 2-cent piece of plastic.
Speaking of, have you guys had any scratches on your Switch? Mine's free of scratches.
Mine's free of scratches, but I've noticed a little. I thought they're like little there's 2 marks on the black part of the Switch on the bottom where it's being held in the cradle, and they're smudges. I was able to wipe the smudges out, but it was from the cradle, not my fingers, because I haven't been touching it. It's been in the dock the whole time.
Oh, true.
So I want to get a screen protector, because if it's going to be constantly doing that, and I'm very careful, like, I am OCD.
Well, be careful with the screen protectors, Mike, because I heard that if you put a screen protector on there, it might melt onto your glass if it gets too warm.
Say that again?
It could melt onto the plastic.
I haven't read that anywhere, but I have a screen protector on mine right now.
Okay, well if you haven't had an issue, just make sure you keep it somewhere where there's air. That's really, I think, where there's a good airflow. I'm more
concerned about having it on because I played on like Saturday from like 11 in the morning till 3 a.m. with like breaks to eat and go to the bathroom, but I was playing it all day, so that would have probably caught on fire if I had a screen protector or something. Good point, man. Good point.
Yeah, I just like, I don't know. It's like the dock wise, like I don't mind it, and I'll tell you what, like these people that are getting scratches or whatever's happening to their systems, yes, it might be defects, but I'm thinking the majority, maybe like 75 to 90% of them, it's just user mishandling, because
mine's not.
Literally take my system in and out of the dock every day because I bring it with me to work and play it on my break.
Do you get the smudges at all from the
No,
ends?
I don't get smudges. I don't get...
See, I do, and
I
I'm
didn't get any
very,
smudges
very
either.
gentle. I'm very, very gentle when I put mine in.
The only smudges I get are from my Italian olive oil skin.
Well, see, I'm not touching the screen, so it can't be from my fingers. Like I
Dude,
haven't.
that
touched
Italian olive oil sweat gets everywhere, man.
I was reading an article. I forgot that the screen was even touch screen. I wasn't touching the screen at all. So that
But
was
Ryan,
cool.
how do you think it feels in your hands?
At first, I wasn't really used to the Joy-Cons. They felt like, I don't know, I wasn't extremely comfortable with them. Now I've got no problem at all. I plug it into a little grip and I play it like no problem. But other than that, I still felt like when I first played it, I almost like I was going for the right joystick up top, like the Wii U, because it felt like Wii U controller in my hand, and it was a little weird at first. But now, like I said, I'm totally used to it.
Yeah, like for me, like if you're asking how the controllers felt, for me it felt comfortable. But I will tell you, when I started to play, I was gonna play just loosely with the Joy-Cons, and I'm like, nope, not doing this, because it was just awkward and weird. I wanted a controller. So when I slid it into the actual controller thing that it came with, like the dock thing,
The dog face thing?
Yeah, the dog face.
yeah, that I enjoyed it, and it was totally fine.
Did either of you get a Pro Controller?
I did
No,
not.
I did not.
Okay,
Only due to the
I have a Pro
price.
Controller, and I've exclusively been using the Pro Controller to play Zelda when I'm at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that it's my second favorite controller right now, behind the Xbox controller. And
Really?
it's close to
Okay.
the Xbox controller.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting one. I just didn't want to drop another $67 or whatever on launch or.
It just feels good in your hands. Like when you come down, Ryan, to check out to steal my amiibos. Yeah, that's right. I called you out right here on the podcast.
Oh man.
This guy's like,
Hey, what else
you
you
want to
good
hang
for?"
out? Oh, and while I'm down there,
You wanna
maybe
hang
I'll
out? Can I
scan
borrow
your
your
amiibos. But okay, yeah. But when you come down, dude, I'll let you try it out. It just feels real. It feels very comfortable in your hands.
Here's
the
my
Pro
question.
Controller.
Because I have no
ahead.
problem with the controllers right now, so I'm still wondering if I should even buy a Pro Controller. But the real question is, and this might sell me on it, how are the sticks? Are they the exact same as the Joy-Con
No,
sticks?
they're more solid.
They're more solid and weighty. Okay.
Yeah, they're more solid, and also the buttons are bigger.
See, I don't have a problem with the buttons.
okay.
I'm so used to this
No,
now.
I got a problem with the buttons. They're too small on the Joy-Cons.
Well, Ant has big hands.
Oh, yeah.
And they have, and it has a real D-pad on it instead of the buttons.
Actually,
So that-
I've
those-
not had a
those-
single problem with the buttons. Maybe because I'm so used to
haven't either. I actually
PlayStation's
like the
D-pad.
buttons.
I actually like the buttons. I do.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Well,
The only issue that I did have when I started playing Zelda, and this was, I'll be honest with you, this was a big one, and I just got used to it, is the running and jumping button. I felt like they could have been like switched or moved around. Like, I don't like using like the bottom button to run and the top button to jump. I kept hitting.
Jeff actually switched his when he was playing.
Oh,
So one
did
of the
he?
other guys that he's writing on Nintendo Fever before, Jeff, he actually switched his around. So his jump button is the B button and his run button's the X button.
Oh, see, that would be awesome. I should
Switch
do
it.
that. I don't know, but
I'm used to the way it is now. Yeah. I don't want to switch it now.
Well, my whole argument, my counter argument with him is he's like, oh, why don't you switch it? Because I was like, yeah, but I run more than I jump.
Yeah.
I do an equal amount of both when you start getting into the shrine battles.
I still run more than I jump.
So
I
you
do
just
too.
take enemies head on. You don't like when you. Is that you don't like?
No, I'll lock on and
You
stuff,
don't lock
but
on and
I'm
jump
when
around?
I'm around in the world, and let's get, after this conversation about Zelda, we'll move
Oh,
on
sure.
because we're gonna come back to Zelda for the game club.
Oh, okay.
But
All right.
but after basically when I'm running around the map, which I spend more time around the map, I'm running way more than I'm doing any jumping. I do the Z targeting lock on, and then I'll use that to strafe and stuff. But I'm fighting a lot less than I'm exploring.
Yeah, I avoid a lot of battles personally.
Me too, or I'll stealth it.
Interesting.
But I know that during the launch, I think we all got Bomberman and Snipper Clips, and I think that's it.
I
Oh
did
no,
not get
Ryan got
Snipper
Fast
Clips, I
Racing.
just got Bomberman. So
I got Fast Racing and 1-2 Switch as well.
Okay, so let's start off. We're gonna talk about Zelda in a little bit, which will have spoilers in it. So if you don't, so you might want to hold off listening to the podcast if you, or that half of the podcast if you haven't played Zelda yet. We'll let you know. We'll say this is the spoiler time. But So let's go ahead and talk about 1-2 Switch then, since we'll let Ryan take over because he's the only one that's played it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm honestly very curious. I was very tempted to buy it. So.
Okay, truthfully, 1-2 Switch, I mean, it should have been a packing game. Hands down, without a question. $50 is kind of a lot to spend on it. But, I mean, it is fun. To an extent. There are certain games that are really fun, and then there's some that are just like so stupid that you don't even know why they're on there. But I think they just did just a pack in 28 different... Yeah, exactly, filler.
Yeah.
Filler, lots of filler. It's fun to play if you have like a group of people because you can do teams as well. So it's a neat little party game that doesn't really use the TV that much. There's only like a few games that actually require you to use either the Switch screen or the TV. Yeah, just a few. And most of the time you're like staring at each other. You look at each other's eyes,
Creepy,
you know?
But, okay, cool.
But I mean...
So do you want to look me eye to eye, Ryan, while we milk cows?
Oh, I'm going to bring it down. Don't worry.
Okay. Note to self: invite girls to play the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's a fun time in very small doses. Like I said, if you get a party together and you guys are playing together and stuff, that would be great.
How many players can you play it with?
You have to almost have 2 players at all times.
No, I mean,
max. At max?
You have 4? Or is it just like...
I don't think there's really a limit. I mean, honestly, because if you do party mode, everybody gets to play, really.
I've seen the Treehouse. They were doing 3-on-3 in the Treehouse presentation.
Wow.
So
really?
that's at least 6.
Okay,
yeah, everyone doesn't have the controller at once. You take turns. It's like Family Feud.
Oh,
kind of
I see,
like where you're going up and like so 2 people go against each other, then you hand off to the next 2 people, and they go against each other.
So should I not have bought an extra Joy-Con pack?
I did too.
I mean, because you could play 4 players on like Bomberman.
Okay.
A Bomberman.
Right, yeah, that's
and
what I was
Mario
thinking.
Kart, and there'll be other games come out. So, I'm sure they'll use 4 players. I hope.
Okay, good. I want to make sure I didn't waste my money on that one. I could have got a Pro controller instead.
So what would be your final assessment on 1-2 Switch? Is it? I mean, I know you said it should have been a pack-in, so obviously you would say wait for a price drop.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
what if you had like a larger family of kids, or you know what I'm saying, or you're always having people over to play games? Is it worth it?
Oh, in that case, yeah. I mean, if you're going to get enough use out of it, absolutely. I mean, every game is worth it. What was my favorite game on there?
Yeah.
I actually like Quick Draw. Quick Draw and like Treasure Chest.
The gun one?
Yeah, the gun one where you actually face off each other and you have to pull the gun out and shoot each other, and it actually shows like after the game's done how high you drew the gun and the timing and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
How's the HD rumble on that game?
I mean, for the ball rolling thing, that is amazing. Like when you
what
can
about the ice cubes?
There's no ice cubes in it.
That was just a demo.
Yeah, there's this demo thing. No, the best use of the HD rumble, I can tell you right now, is definitely the ball rolling. Everything else is just rumble.
Can you explain what makes the ball rolling good? Because you got me like curious, and I have no clue what it is.
The game, how it works is basically they're going to put a random number of balls inside your Joy-Con. They say, and you have to count it out and guess how many balls are in there. But as you roll it, tilt it, bounce it, I mean, you can literally feel like balls rolling around and clicking and hitting each other.
I cannot wait to try that.
It is really cool how they did that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, but the thing with the Joy-Con HD Rumble, like I know they say like Fast Racing RMX uses it and stuff, right? But I don't really feel any different, honestly. I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing it or something, but or my hands are desensitized.
I like how the Rumble isn't obnoxious, and it's like they can do it in very like different bursts.
Yeah.
Like in Zelda, it feels like really natural when they're like lifting doors and stuff like that. It doesn't have like the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I barely notice them, but I feel it, but I don't feel it as like this is annoying.
Well, I don't think Zelda uses HD Rumble, does it? I thought that was one of the games.
It might not, but even the way they use the Rumble that's in the controllers, though, it just feels like more natural.
Yeah.
Okay, the other game. Okay, how's Fast Racing? Because I've played Fast Racing Neo. How is? I know you can't really compare, but
yeah, I've never
Fast
played
Racing
Neo,
RMX?
but it's very cool. I mean, it's very fast, and it's very smooth. 60 frames per second. You can definitely tell, especially when you get into like the heated battles and stuff. And what's really cool is that fact we talked about before, where you have to switch between orange and blue, It kind of keeps you on your toes. I did have to switch the controls around for that game just because I like it better with the triggers being my gas and brake from my Xbox and PlayStation.
It comes standard with A as your gas,
Right,
right?
it's standard at A, yeah.
Yeah, and then but how do you do your tilts then? Your R and L tilts to
I
turn?
use the buttons. I use the Y
Ooh.
and the
I
A
don't know
button.
if I could do that. That would be weird.
You get used to it. It is a little weird at first, but you get used to it.
Yeah, I'd have to play around with that. I don't know. I like my L and R being my tilt, like F-Zero style.
Oh, I can
so
understand.
I don't know. But that one you recommend?
Oh yeah, I
Someone that's
recommend
looking for
$20 if you're into racing. And right now, there's really not many other racing choices. That one's awesome until Mario Kart, of course.
So I know that no one got I Am Setsuna, so I really would like to play that.
I have it, but on PlayStation 4.
Have you played it at all?
Yeah.
How
yeah.
is it? Can you
I'm
talk
loving
about it a little
dude.
bit?
Yeah. I'm liking it. I'm probably in the second area right now. So I mean, obviously I've been playing Zelda, but the soundtrack's so amazing. Like I paid extra to get the soundtrack with the pre-order and stuff like that. So totally worth it. Graphics are great. The game's great. I feel like I think it is made by the same people that make Chrono Trigger, right? Or part of the artists or
Well,
developers.
it's from Square Enix, so I don't know if it's part of the team that does it or not. But
I think it's a couple people on the team are part of the Chrono Trigger team, or at least one of the Final Fantasy teams. One of those teams, because it has
it definitely
a very,
looks like it.
It feels like Chrono Trigger, and I really like the story so far, and the art, and quite honestly, the gameplay. It was refreshing because it's like a retro new game. It kind of feels like, you know what I mean? But it's been an RPG that I've been like. Type of RPG that I've been craving for quite a while, and it's modern and done well. So I highly recommend it. It's worth the cost to me. If I didn't already own it, I'd buy it. But I don't need 2 copies of it.
Yeah, and then the other game was Shovel Knight, and I mean,
I own too.
I own that on Wii U, and that's like an old school 8-bit platformer, which is pretty awesome. I haven't played it on the Switch. I'm sure it's more of the same, and I'm sure it's just as awesome as it was on the Wii U. So if one of us gets that, we'll be sure to give you a better review than what I just said. But
yeah.
So let's talk about Snipper Clips, and then we'll get into Zelda. So okay, I played Snipper Clips. Ryan, did you play multiplayer or by yourself in Snipper Clips?
I played multiplayer, 3-player, 2-player, and by myself.
Okay, so I played multiplayer. I played some with Pete, and it was pretty fun. We had a good time trying to figure out some of the puzzles. Then I played with my daughter, and that was a struggle because she wasn't getting the concept of having to cut it. But she liked jumping around the screen. She liked the colors, so she had fun doing that. So I would say, like, I mean, there really has to be a basic understanding of shapes and stuff in order for you to be able to play that. So my daughter's 3, so not a good game for a 3-year-old, but a little bit older. It'd be a fun game. How was it playing 3 players?
Well, here's what happens. When you play 3 players, there's still 4 players on the screen. So player 1 has to switch between 2 different characters.
Gotcha. And now, so if you're standing like on your heels or ducking, does the character when you switch stay in that position?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say that the puzzles are really fun. Some are better than others. Some are a little lackluster. Some are really clever and awesome. I played this one where you had to like move these gears and move like a cat face together, and that was like really difficult to figure out.
It looks interesting. I haven't played it, obviously, but
it had some gears on the wall that you had to move to turn the top of the cat's head, and then you had one like lowered it on a string, so you could lower it into position. The other like flipped it. So it's just really unique on how you have to do it. And then like to do the gears, basically 2 people needed to turn it because you have to like turn it, crank it once, then someone else has to come in and grab it on the bottom and turn it again, and then they have to hold it at the top, and the other person has to go and turn the crank. So it's really cooperative about the way it goes. Again, I mean, if you don't know what the game is, this is one of the hardest games to explain verbally. I swear, it really is.
It's a puzzle game.
Yeah, it is. It's a puzzle platformer, but it's really fun.
Is it worth $20 to you?
Oh, I think it's worth $20, especially if you have someone else to play with.
If you have someone else to play with, it's definitely worth $20. By yourself, not so much.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Oh, and did any of you guys play Bomberman real quick before we get
Yeah,
to
Oh,
Zelda?
yeah.
I did. I'm on World 2.
What'd you guys think?
I'm on World 2 as well.
I loved it. The boss fight was amazing.
It was crazy. I played it with my wife, and we played co-op together. So we're constantly like having to coordinate bombs and stuff so we don't blow each other up.
Yeah.
And the bomb and the boss was, like you said, wild, man. So that was pretty neat.
It was wild. Yeah, I played with with one of my friends, and we're like coordinating as well, like out loud, and we're like, "Yeah, let's do this, let's do that." And then we got to the boss, and like, "Wow, this is crazy." It looked cool, and coordination worked out well, and we beat him and got to the second world. So I also did battle mode and multiplayer with my brother and his girlfriend, who aren't video game people, and they just picked it up and played, and they liked it. They're fans now.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so simplistic. That's what makes it great.
It wasn't hard for them to understand the concept of what you needed to do and what was going on. So.
Yeah, so going on the terms of the battle mode, I do want to set up a NintendoFever game night.
Sure.
I'll put our friend codes in the podcast link, so that way we'll get a time and date for everybody. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, and then we'll play Bomberman online and we'll test it out. We'll definitely have played it before the next podcast, so we can give you our review on the online mode. But we definitely want to get our listeners out there to be playing with us. So we'll put our friend codes out there. Send us requests. We'll add you. Let's get on Bomberman. We'll set up a time so we could all play. I think that'll be really fun. Maybe we could have NintendoFever versus Game Gravy.
Yeah, we can do that.
We'll wipe the floor with you clowns.
I was going to say, you'll lose, but that's fine.
But, okay, so let's talk about the game of the hour here. Let's get into the game club. So I want this to not be a review of Zelda because let's be honest here. The game's a 10. I mean, everyone's giving it a 10.
Yeah.
The game's amazing.
I thought it was way better than it was going to actually be. You know what I mean?
It's crazy because even at 10s, I was seeing it get 10s everywhere. I'm like, I was still worried about the game, and then I got it, and it was still better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, it's Zelda. Everybody's going to rate it a 10 because it's nostalgia factor and whatever. It's been a long time. And then I'm just like, no, this game deserves it. They did a great job.
Mentioning that, today Metacritic actually came out and said it's the first game to receive the most 10s out of any game ever released.
I believe that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this made me feel like a first-time gamer again when I was like a little kid or when I was younger playing like Ocarina of Time for the first time, right? And it just blew me away. Like, that's how I felt with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, so again, I don't want this to be a review of Zelda. I want this to be more
Right.
of a game club conversation about Zelda.
Yeah.
So let's start off. Okay, so when we start the game, you play as basically Naked Link, kind of like Naked Shulk, but so you're waking up. You do have boxers or underwear on or whatever they wear in Hyrule underneath their clothes.
Such a weird way to start the conversation.
What was that?
Such a weird way to start the game conversation.
Hey man, you gotta whatever Hyruleans wear, or you know.
I think there's somebody left clothes behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what their undergarments are called. Okay,
I don't know. That's scientists that put you in there. Who knows?
Yeah. So anyways, you wake up and automatically already this game feels like you can see the technology and you can feel the difference of technology in Hyrule over any other Zelda game right away in the first starting area.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the Sheikah Slate, and you hear Zelda talking to you, and you exit the cave, and then you come upon the Great Plateau. Now, what was your guys' feelings when you first walked out to that cliff?
I was like, dang, this is going to be fun.
Very big. Very
I was like,
vast.
this is big. I'm like, I'm in the Zelda world right now. And I was like, I was thinking, I'm like, I can't wait to see what the heck's going on.
Okay, so now we're on the Great Plateau area, and so this is kind of the area I think they've pretty much shown the most off of, that we've seen in the game.
Yeah.
They were like kind of saying this is like the 2% of the game or whatever, or of the map. So what was the first thing you did, Ryan, when you came out to the Great Plateau?
First thing I did. Well, actually, I ran over to downhill and saw the old man.
So you automatically went to where they were trying to get you to go?
Well, I I kind of ran downhill. I didn't want to jump off the side of a mountain at that point, so I ran down the hill, and he was just happened to be there. So I was like, oh.
Wow.
That was the first thing I did.
First thing I did was I just started picking up everything I could and exploring the like little area. I was like picking up sticks and like collecting sticks and just picking flowers and mushrooms or picking up apples, and I started climbing some trees until I couldn't anymore. And then, once I collected everything in that general vicinity, then I started to meander down the hill and talk to the old man.
Well,
The first, I
yeah.
stole his baked apple before he even said I could have it.
Yeah, I did too.
Just was like,
Yeah, I did as well.
I was like, yeah, I'll take that.
So I basically did the same thing as you, Mike. I just went round and grabbed everything I possibly could. I climbed a couple trees, climbed a couple walls, kind of just getting a feel for the controls, just kind of feeling my way out. I'm like,
I didn't even think of that. I didn't think about the control. I was just like, I want to explore. This is
well, I wanted to explore, but I also kind of wanted to get a grasp of how Link's going to feel in this game, because this is like the first Zelda game where you could jump freely. So I kind of just, I was like, let me kind of get a grasp of how Link's gonna feel and control. Which, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was a little worried about the jumping, but it feels natural in this game.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed there was no rolling, but I did like it.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about rolling. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was used to doing that, but it doesn't bother me because with the lock on and you can jump backwards. I like the jumping backwards thing. That's very helpful during combat.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. The only reason I rolled was to run faster. So I guess you have the sprint now, which kind of makes up for that for me at least.
Oh, I'm talking just directly in combat, like rolling,
like
dodging.
Okay,
like
gotcha.
Combat dodging and stuff.
I miss rolling into trees.
Yeah, well, you knocked the fruit out.
Yeah.
Well, now you can just climb them. You don't even have to roll into them anymore, or just chop them
That
down.
takes too long.
Yeah. Right. Roll on top of them.
So then the progression wants you basically to talk to the old man, which should we do spoiler, non-spoiler?
It's your call.
We'll keep it non-spoiler. You talk to this old man. Eventually, you'll learn who he is. We'll kind of get to that point. And then, really after that, he kind of leads you to start going to the shrines, which are Zelda's. They're almost like mini dungeons, each one.
Yeah, it is. In essence, a shrine is like a mini.
Yeah, so there's no
puzzle.
boss fight or anything in the shrine. It's just usually it's 1 to 2 puzzles, sometimes a little more.
Well, it depends on the shrine.
Shrines. It depends on the shrines. There are some shrines that are combat shrines and some shrines that are puzzle. They're called trial shrines.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you'll have that. You'll go to each shrine. There's 4 in this area, so you basically have to get these 4 done before it'll let you really progress. I guess you could progress without it, because I've heard that you can just go right to the end of the game. So, but the way they make it sound like is you can't leave this area.
You need to get the glider to get down off the wall.
Here's the thing. If you don't get those first 4 shrines, you're not going to be able to get very far or do anything in the game.
Yeah, it locks you in. After you get the glider, then you can run up to the to Ganon and try to fight him. But you need to do the 4 shrines to get the glider first.
So the cool thing about this area is it kind of introduces you to a lot of different elements of the game. So you get to go. There's a forest area. There's a water area. There's guardians. There's a cold area. There's a mountain. So you kind of this is like a very good starter area because you really get to see a little bit of everything in this area.
I agree.
The one thing I want to talk about in the shrines is when you go into the cold area. Now, I cooked food to get something to get basically the food gave me a resistance to cold. So I want Ryan to talk about it because we talked about this earlier. How did you beat that?
We all did different things.
Yeah, how did you beat that part, Ryan?
I just ate peppers and ran for the best. I mean, I ate a few peppers here and yeah. I mean,
so you ate the whole way.
I was eating the whole way, and then to refill my hearts, I'd eat more apples or whatever. You know what I mean? But there's plenty of food, so I was like, I'm not worried about it.
and then Mike, how did you get through that part?
I literally found a little moblin cooking pot and threw 5 peppers in there, and my cold resistance boosted for like 12 minutes. Wow. So I was like, let's do this. And then I ran that whole way. I did that by accident, by the way, because I had no idea that you could even cook. I just was like, I walked up to it and I was like, what? I like was literally messing around with stuff, right? And I was like, I don't know any recipes. I'm just going to throw everything I have in there. Because I read the description, and the description said, provides, cold resistance or something like that, or keeps you warmer. And I cooked that, and I was like, heck yeah, I'm going to use this. puzzle figured out.
Well, the crazy thing about this game is there is no hand holding. Like, you really got to figure a lot of stuff out.
I love that, though. They reward you for doing
Oh,
that.
absolutely. It's great.
Yeah.
So now here's something interesting, guys. I talked with Jeff earlier, and so you know how Jeff beats this part? He climbed to the top of the mountain to see where to go, and the old man was up there and gave him clothes that boosted his cold resistance.
What mount? Which mountain?
The Mount Hyla.
Really?
Or Hylia. Yeah. So the old man was up there and he gave him the warm doublet.
Wow, I bought that crap.
Yeah. And he got it for free. And actually, you know what's hilarious? I looked up later on if you could go back and get it from him. And non-spoiler, let's just say something happens where you find his identity out, and so you don't know if he'll still be in the same areas. I guess if you go to his cabin, it's waiting in there, and you can get it for free.
Oh,
if you
really?
didn't get it. Yeah. Man. So
all right.
if you missed that part, go back and you can get the warm doublet from his cabin.
Yep, I'll go get it.
Let you.
So the next thing after that first area is they push you to go to, what's the name of the village, Mike?
Are you talking about the first village?
First village.
Kakariko Village.
Okay, yeah. So you go to Kakariko Village, and it's pretty awesome the first time you actually get to a village.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would say so. It's
I
pretty
agree.
almost overwhelming. Like, it's like, wow. So you walk in.
I was like floored because I'm like walking through the mountains and stuff, and like walking to the edge just to look at all the land, and then following the path to the town, and I'm just like, this is awesome. Wow. Like, and when I got there, I just like talked to everybody.
And there's a lot of people to talk to in this Zelda game.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, and this is kind of the first area where you're really introduced into side quests. Well,
Yes.
I guess you get them on the way there. You'll pass a stable, so you can use the stables to keep your horses and recall your horses that you catch in the wild and you tame. You can get a couple side quests from over in that area, but this is really the first place that has a lot of side quests.
Yeah. And I recommend getting all of them, because it will help you later on in the game. If you skip people in town, you'll be missing out on some big clues I found out. Just so that you two know.
Well, I haven't skipped anything. And then
Okay.
after the Kakariko village, you'll head over to what's the name of the other village? I'm sorry, I'm so bad with names.
No,
so
Hatano
Hatano Village.
Hatano
And
Village, yeah.
so that kind of opens up a whole new aspect of the game where you get a camera on your Sheikah slate, and you have to find memories located around the world. Now, that was pretty cool because me and Mike found that at about the same time, and we were communicating back and forth via text message and calling each other, and we were kind of like deciphering where these locations were while we were on the phone with each other. So he was going to one section of the map, I was going to another, and we found a couple of the memories. So that part was pretty fun doing that.
Did I tell you how you can get clues to where each photo is?
You did not.
No.
So, can I share it, or do you think that's a spoiler? Is that a spoiler? Or?
Spoiler, if you don't want to know this.
It's a clue. It's a clue. I mean, it's not. I'm not
Give us
saying
a
where any of
clue.
the
Give us a
memories.
clue, Mike.
I did earlier. You didn't get it. That's why I wanted to say it.
Go ahead and say it.
So, in Kakariko Village, if you talk to the painter across from Impa, he'll send you on a little quest to help him out.
Okay, that's it. Just stop right there.
That's it.
All right.
And you'll want to be his friend and always find him.
Okay. That's
Okay.
interesting.
That's it. That's it.
All right.
Look for a
That's
painter.
interesting.
Yep.
So in this new village where you get to the tech area, there's like a tech shop. So this you could also start upgrading your abilities
Yes.
using the ancient
mechanisms.
mechanisms that you pick up.
Yeah.
Also, back in the Kakariko village, we forgot to mention. On your way there, you come across, I don't even know what the leaf guy's called, but he'll basically, if you drop off
Hetsu.
the Kariko seeds.
Yeah, the Hetsu is the guy that you turn in the seeds to.
Yeah, and then that will allow you to upgrade your inventory. So almost everything in this game is upgradable. You could even upgrade your armor, and basically the great fairy fountains, they'll make your armor, they'll bless your armor.
Have you guys
and
found a
give
great fairy fountain?
Yeah,
Yep.
there's one in the Kakariko village.
Don't
Is there?
tell Ryan if he hasn't found one.
Oh, well, spoiler
Jeez,
alert.
Man.
No, I
Post-
Make
Spoiler
him
alert.
explore a bit.
I think I gotta explore the village more. Apparently,
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
Talk
you
to
do.
everybody, look around everywhere. that'll be my hint of the day for you.
Yeah, and Ryan, like I said, if you talk to the painter, he'll help you out.
I think
Right.
I think this is a good stopping point for our gaming session. How about this? How about the next time we talk about it, we will talk about dungeons. So that way
Yeah.
we'll kind of leave it. We'll kind of, since it's only been a week, maybe not
Yeah.
everyone's explored a dungeon yet.
I mean,
we'll
we could
kinda
talk too.
hold
How many?
off. What was that?
How many shrines have you guys done?
Oh,
How many
shrines?
what?
I've done a
Shrines.
total
Oh,
of
probably about 16.
13, I think.
Oh wow, okay, I
13 or
got
14.
23.
Dang.
Yeah, so I'm probably about 16. I found 2
Yeah.
stables.
I need to have
Found
more
4
time in
now,
this game.
which is insane.
Yeah,
I
so
don't have a family, so
I really need
Or
to
life.
I really need to put some more time into this game, but I think this is a good stopping point for the game club.
Yes.
I think we will pick up next week and we'll talk about some of the shrines.
sounds good.
I can't wait to talk about the shrine I'm in. It gave me some Metroid feels. I'll just go about that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think.
Yeah. So it's the technology in general just gives me Metroid feels. I'm just waiting
Yeah.
for Zelda to say, "Haha, I'm really Samus." But,
Yeah, right. Or like let you be able to pick up her armor in the game.
Here's a question. Do you guys have any gripes on Zelda? Like anything that you find like that bothers you about the game?
The only thing that bothers me is the little bit of frame rate issues there is. That's it.
See, I haven't had any of those issues. I haven't encountered anything, and
Yeah.
I've been putting a lot of hours into this.
It's not the frame rate that bothers me. It's the aiming with the right stick that kills me. Like it
Turn
feels.
down the sensitivity.
I did, and it still feels so loose. Like I got
I
to
don't
like
know. I
tap
haven't
it.
had issues with that.
Maybe
You
it's
with
the maybe it's the controller, man. Maybe you need the pro controller.
That's why I was asking you about
well,
the sticks.
Yeah.
Well, also what you can do,
how about
too-
this? How about before you make that a gripe, come try out the pro controller and see how
Okay,
you like it.
I will try the pro
also
controller.
Rhino too. What I found out is if you put your slide the Joy-Cons on the system and then restart the system, it will make sure that the controllers are patched with the update, the system update.
Oh, okay.
So if you do have any Joy-Con issues occurring, the software will fix it. Unless
Well, I don't think it's more. I think it's just how loose the control stick is, and like my aiming.
Oh,
'cause
okay.
I'm used to other systems, so when I play first-person shooters and stuff, I don't know. It's
Sure,
very
yeah.
it's a little different. Not that I'm,
it just takes some beginning use.
it's minor.
Sure.
All right, well, I think that'll wrap up the 94th episode of the Nintendo Fever podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Nintendo Fever or join our Facebook community group. We will have that in the post for the podcast. And definitely be on the lookout for our gaming night for Bomberman. We'll definitely get on there. I can't wait for next month. Next month we'll have gaming nights for Mario Kart.
Absolutely.
But until next week,
Until
I'm
next
Anthony.
week, I'm Ryan.
Michael.
Get your game on.